The average credit card balance is around $7,000, but that's not a down payment on a car. That's not a ticket to the Super Bowl. That's everyday spending that slowly stacks up. Now, scroll through Instagram for 30 seconds and see if that lines up with what you're seeing. It feels like everyone out there is traveling, upgrading their lives, or doing just fine. But here's the part that most people miss. What you see on social media isn't reality. And if you feel like you're falling behind, there's a good chance you're actually further along than you think. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the signs you're actually winning with money, even if it doesn't feel like it. And if you ever felt like you're behind financially, go ahead and hit the like button. Number one, you're prepared when life happens. Have you ever had something break and it completely stressed you out? Because things break. That's just life. And if you don't have money set aside for it, it can feel overwhelming. But when you have an emergency fund, something shifts. You might still feel stressed in the moment, but in the back of your mind, you know you planned for this. It didn't start like that for me. At first, it was just a small buffer, but over time, it grew into a 6-month emergency fund. And I know now that if something were to happen, I would be able to handle it. If unexpected expenses don't throw you off anymore, that's a sign you're winning with money. Something that helped me start out was just aiming for $1,000. I didn't overthink it. I just built the initial buffer and then let it grow over time. Number two, you're taking control of your debt. Have you ever felt like your money was already gone before you even got it? My wife and I had over $250,000 in debt. And when you really think about it, that's the cost of a decent house in a lot of places. But instead of building something, it felt like that everything we earned was going towards something in the past. It was always there, hanging over us. It felt like we had to throw every extra dollar at it just so it wouldn't last forever. That's what it felt like for us. It was heavy, but once we had a plan and started making progress, something began to shift. And it didn't happen overnight. It was slow. And there were times it didn't feel like we were ever making progress. And I still remember the moment when it was finally gone. We kind of just sat there for a second, almost stunned, like it didn't feel real. It just felt like some kind of cruel joke, like we were waiting for someone to say, no, 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 not yet. But there wasn't a big celebration. It was actually pretty quiet. There was this sense of relief, like something had been lifted from our shoulders, like we could finally breathe again. And for the first time, it felt like our money was actually ours. If debt isn't controlling the life the way it used to, that's a sign you're winning with money. What we started doing was focusing on one debt at a time instead of trying to fix everything all at once. And that's what made it feel manageable. Number three, you have money left over. Have you ever felt like you were just trying to survive until the next paycheck? Life isn't cheap. When we had kids in daycare, it felt like another mortgage payment. We had to really be careful with every dollar, and it was always in the back of our mind. I felt like I had to be cheap just to avoid feeling guilty. And during that time, we had to make some sacrifices. We were more mindful of what we bought. We cooked more meals at home instead of eating out. And we started taking advantage of free things around us like the library. It wasn't always easy, but it created space. And once we were able to create a small gap, things started to change. We weren't reacting anymore. We were being intentional. Number four, you stopped chasing what everyone else has. Have you ever felt the pressure to keep up with what everyone else has? For me, that started way before social media. In school, everyone was wearing name brand clothes. And to be honest, I even wore the fake ones just to have a logo. But the quality sucked, the threads would fall apart. And that's when I realized that I wasn't living for myself. It took time to realize that's not what I should have been chasing. But that didn't happen overnight. It took some self reflection. Really ask myself why I wanted certain things in the first place. Was it for me? Or was it just to fit in? And over time, that started to shift. Now give me something that's clean and simple, and I'm totally fine with that. Because it's not about trying to keep up anymore. It's about being comfortable, living your life, not someone else's. Number five, you're spending with purpose. Have you ever looked back at your spending and wondered where it all went? Most of the time, it's not one big purchase. It's a lot of small ones. I used to be scared to spend money. I was a borderline money hoarder because I didn't want to lose it, saving it without intention and mostly fear. But now how I see money is totally different. It's a tool. And over time, the way I spend it has changed. I'm less focused on buying things and more focused on experiences, especially with my kids, because those are the things that actually stick with me, not the shiny toys, not the stuff that ends up sitting around the house. It's the time together, the memories. And that's where I'd rather spend my money nowadays. One thing I do now is pause and ask myself, is this something we'll actually remember? Or is it just something to have sitting in the background? Number six, you actually know your numbers. I used to believe that having a good job would just take care of everything. As long as I had money coming in, I thought I'd be fine. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. And honestly, there were times I overdrafted on my account and got hit with bank fees. That was the proof. I really didn't know what was going on. I was just guessing. You push that feeling away. You don't want to face it. And sometimes you even avoid talking about money because you built up a certain lifestyle in front of other people. But once I started budgeting, everything changed. Now I know exactly what I can afford. And that's a different kind of confidence that comes along with it. Even things like my credit score started to improve just because I was finally paying attention. What made a difference for me was setting aside just 10 minutes a week to look at everything. No pressure, just awareness. Number seven, you're thinking beyond right now. Have you ever caught yourself thinking about your future instead of just getting through the week? You're not just reacting anymore, you're planning. And for me, that started to show up in how I invested in myself. Reading more, learning from other people, or getting around people who are thinking differently about money. Even just having conversations that push me in a different direction meant so much. Because sometimes it's not just about what you earned, it's about how you think about it. And over time, that started to change things for me. And then something else started to happen as well. I found myself wanting to help others, sharing what I've learned, trying to point people in the right direction so they don't have to figure out everything all by themselves. And that's when you realize you're not just focused on your situation anymore, you're thinking bigger than that. One thing that helped me was just starting small, whether that was reading a few pages a day or reaching out to someone who was already on a similar path. If you're investing in yourself and starting to pour into others, that's a sign you're winning with money. And if you're getting any value from this video, please hit the like button. It really means a lot. Now, if you saw yourself in a few of these things, here's the part that really matters. Because it's one thing to recognize progress, it's another thing to keep building on it. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's to keep moving forward. What made the biggest difference for me wasn't motivation, it was having a system, something automatic, something repeatable, whether that's setting up automatic savings, investing consistently, or just having a plan for your money. Systems make things easier to stay consistent. Another thing that helped me was focusing on small actions instead of big moves. Most of the progress you make with money comes from the little things done over and over again. And I had to learn not to try to fix everything all at once. Focusing on one thing at a time made everything feel more manageable. And finally, stay aware. Don't stay obsessed. Don't check every day, but check in consistently. Because the more aware you are, the better decisions you make. Most of what progress looks like with money is quiet. It doesn't stand out. It doesn't feel like a big win. But if you see yourself in just a few of these things, you're not behind. You're building something. And that's what actually matters. And if this helped you see your situation a little differently, hit the subscribe button. And if one of these stood out to you, hit the like button and let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in the next video.